The Grand Bahamas Children's Home paying tribute to a beloved advocate. Medical officials to focus on mental health. And plans to expand the BAIC pop-up market.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Wolf-Farquharson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news this evening, the tragic death of a well-known social worker is having a rippling effect throughout the Grand Bahama community. The victim of an apparent suicide, a social worker, cared for some of the most vulnerable and disadvantaged in society. Tonight, an executive at the Grand Bahama Children's Home says that the victim had a big impact on the operations and the youngsters at the Grand Bahama Children's Home. Natalia Hall reports.
If you know Miss Mack, you have to love her. You can't help. She was such a gentle person.
Executive Director of the Grand Bahama Children's Home, Sheila Johnson-Smith, says it pains her that some are focusing on the way former social worker Patrice Mack died, instead of focusing on the wonderful person that she was, not only as a social worker, but a human being. Mack once served as an administrator at the Children's Home, and Johnson says she was a gentle soul.
It is how you live that matters. And she lived great with us here at the home. She's from the old school like me as a former social worker, where you believe that your clients, your children are so important. And she treated them with respect and importance, that their lives mattered. And that's how she treated everybody on this property.
She says the children were devastated when they heard the news.
There was never a time that I called her that she didn't come to our rescue. And I said, Miss Mack, such and such. Even up to Wednesday before she died, she was here. And we talked about what was needed for the children. And she said, oh, I'm going to bring them for you. But unfortunately, God had other plans.
She adds that Patrice Mack was someone that the children could count on.
It was not about going to the bank and getting her salary. That was not Patrice Mack. Patrice Mack was a dedicated, and she leaves a big set of shoes to be filled.
The executive director says she was one who kept her word at all times.
We find it very difficult. Very, very difficult to know that she is gone, and she will not be coming here any longer. It's a difficult time for us here at the home.
Johnson-Smith says she considers Patrice Mack as one of the best social workers in the country, adding that she will truly be missed by the entire children's home. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Natalia Hall.
Well, October 10th is recognized as World Mental Health Day, and the Grand Bahama Health Services is looking to utilize the entire month of October to raise awareness on mental health issues. Tonight, hospital officials explain the importance of giving a listening ear.
Hospital Administrator Sharon Williams, along with her team, sharing key information about mental health issues. Williams says that the Grand Bahama Health Services will be seeking to raise awareness and spread information to the public through various initiatives.
We will be working with various organizations within the community to present matters and to provide support to our clients with mental health issues. We are looking forward to a vibrant educational month.
Consultant psychiatrist Dr. Daphne Adderley-Sands notes that mental health is defined as the state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential to cope with normal stresses of life, can work productively, and is able to make contributions to their community. Mental illness, she adds, is a medical condition and is defined by how a person thinks and how their behavior and interactions is affected.
Mental illness is a silent killer in modern society. Many people who have mental illness do not want to talk about it, but mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of. It is a medical condition, just like heart disease and diabetes, and mental health conditions are treatable. Two of the most common form of mental illness is depression and anxiety, and while these conditions can occur in different ways, their reactions, the treatment is still available.
Sands adds that 1 in 5 persons will suffer from mental illness in any given year. She says that persons with chronic illnesses are more likely to develop mental illnesses. Apart from the physical aspect, she adds that persons with mental illness will also experience social exclusion.
This is something that we need to be more aware of, and that's where stigma is in place. Over 70% of our sufferers keep their illness or problems to themselves for fear of being judged by society and their peers, which can be a significant inhibitors of them looking or seeking for help. Stigma is unhealthy to people with mental illness because it creates an environment of shame, fear, and silence, and that prevents them from seeking help. And the perception of mental illness won't change unless we, as a society, make that change.
She notes that mental illness affects a large portion of our community and that it is important to create awareness. If you suspect that you or someone you know may be suffering from mental illness, Sands is encouraging you to seek or offer help through the proper channels. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, a mother pleading tonight for her son's body after he was allegedly shot in Sandy Point, Abaco some 2 weeks ago. Paula Dean Arnett says she received information from witnesses that her son, Mario Sawyer, was reportedly shot in the head and then placed into the back seat of a vehicle, and the suspect involved then drove off with her son's body. That vehicle has since been found, but her son nor the suspect has been seen since. Tonight, she's making this appeal.
I love him. I'm praying for him. I would like him to turn himself into the police. I would like to see that his life be turned around and changed from this tragedy that has happened. My appeal to him is, please just give me my son's body or tell me where I can find his body. That's all I want is my child's body. And I'm believing God that out of this tragedy that happened in Sandy Point, that it would not separate the community, but that it would bring the community together, and it would cause somebody's life to be changed, and these young men will realize that violence is not the answer, and that they will surrender their life over to God.
Now, she says police tell her that investigations are ongoing and they are hoping that they can bring this matter to a close soon.
Other than they are waiting for the test results to come back, phone results, and they are following significant leads. So, you know, I was advised not to listen to too much of the talks that the people are saying. So I'm just allowing them to do their job. And so far, Marsh Harbor Police, along with Nassau Police, they are on the job. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So my thing is, I'm just waiting, you know, for things to break and for them to give me a phone call back. But I have been in touch with the chief over here, and he's constantly encouraging me and telling me to stay strong. They are doing everything that they could, and they believe that things will come to a closure soon.
Now, police say the suspect wanted in connection with the disappearance of Dean's son is 30-year-old Rashard Ashton Fox. Police issued an all-points bulletin for his arrest last week. Fox, a resident of Sandy Point, Abaco, is 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, dark brown complexion, and heavy built. If you know the whereabouts of Rashard Ashton Fox, you should call 352-1919, 911-919, or your nearest police station. Meantime, Drug Enforcement Unit officers discovering a quantity of illegal ammunition on Grand Bahama around 9 p.m. last night. Officers, while on mobile patrol in the Baz Lane area, observed a group of men in an abandoned building. Police say the males, on seeing the officers, fled the area on foot. Officers then searched the abandoned building and discovered a total of 109 rounds of ammunition. No suspects were arrested in this matter. Police are currently investigating. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.